Hey, what's up? Silas here. Just a quick video in defense of Mark Zuckerberg and just the tech industry in general. I think the social media industry. Right now, this is the second day Mark Zuckerberg is going out and talking to what's it called, the Congress and the Senate of the United States of America, and people have been going on about how Facebook and these other social media platforms, the large ones like Twitter, Facebook is on there, of course. Google, which owns, I think it gets something like, I think it's something absurd, like 90% of the actual searches online are going through Google. Even when people say it, it has that whole branding thing. How, when you want like a bag, a plastic freezer bag, people don't say, can I get a plastic freezer bag? People say, can I get a Ziploc? Somebody wants some plastic thing. This is the United States of America. It probably doesn't happen this way here in Nairobi, Kenya. But anyway, you get like a plastic thing you want to put food in and store it in there. You don't say, can I get a plastic container to store food? You say, can I get a Tupperware dish? So these things kind of get branded where it's like, when you're going to try to get this thing accomplished, you go to this product. And that has shown how this thing has become the main straight thing that is used for these kind of things. So, Google is one of those things. Facebook is one of those things. If you want to have some kind of social media thing, have something, hey, Facebook me, hey, do you have a Facebook? When people ask that sometimes, you meet somebody and it's not, can I have your phone number? It's, hey, do you have a Facebook? It's not, hey, can I get your email? It's like, hey, can I get your Facebook address? People ask this now. It's so ubiquitous? Ubiquitous. I think that's the word. Sometimes I should just reach for these bigger words. Like if I'm writing the stuff down, it's a lot easier to come to me than actually speaking them. But anyway, that's just, again, a thing from usage. When you use certain things, use it so much, it becomes part of you, it becomes part of your personality, it becomes part of your usage, part of your lexicon, part of the words that you're using. So now, with Facebook, one of the funniest things to me right now is seeing people going out there talking about how, yes, Congress, the Senate, the United States government, these state apparatuses are going to be the ones to come in there and break up this supposed monopoly that Google, Facebook, and all these people have. I'll get into the actual politics of Mark Zuckerberg that he has actually put out there later, but just that part is hilarious to me. This is what I've been saying. The statism is a religion. The way people look at this, it's a kind of way people are like, okay, somebody has done something bad to me. This institution has done something bad to me in the world, but I'm going to pray to God for him to actually protect this. When in my understanding, if God has let something happen, he's all powerful, right? If he's let something happen, isn't that part of his plan in a way? Now, when it comes to the government, it's definitely a lot stronger that way. People are looking at these people. Just go in and look at who's actually grilling Mark Zuckerberg in this thing. Go and check their donations. Check and see how many of these tech companies have been donating to these people. And then you want to pretend that these politicians don't have some aid, if not an aid that specifically directly liaises and talks to some aid of Mark Zuckerberg, if not maybe just like a tech person where there's like a tech department in there where, yeah, you're going to handle all our social media, our tech, our new media type of things, and you're going to be in regular conversation with Mark Zuckerberg. Because we see what was happening under Obama's administration. They've come out and admitted that, hey, yes, we agree with you politically and we're going to try to help you. And that comes to another thing. That's why, let me talk about Mark Zuckerberg's politics here, why I'm defending him. Because one thing with Mark Zuckerberg, one thing that's really funny to me is the same people online who will be talking about people coming to the United States of America and making complaints about it, immigrants and things like that, or just people within the United States of America. And people are like, why are you complaining about the country if you're choosing to stay there? You don't have to be in the United States of America. Leave. And these people are the same people posting this on Facebook, posting about how negative Facebook is, how bad Mark Zuckerberg is at doing what he's doing. But at least one thing I'm going to tip my hat off to Mark Zuckerberg is he created the platform. He believes in something politically. Whether I agree with I probably would disagree with most of his politics if we sat down and had a conversation, or if I went through and actually tried to find out where he's listed it and talked about it, just from seeing the people that he supported and the kind of platform that he's encouraged, the kind of material that he doesn't want on the platform, or the kind of worldview that he has. For me, that makes sense to me. Like, yes, but he still at least had something. He decided to create the platform. He decided to pull it out there. He's decided to actually live his political ideals and try to make the world what it is. And he's doing it at the risk of Facebook losing shares, Facebook losing its popularity. He's actually putting that out there. And yeah, sure, even if it loses popularity, he's not going to lose his billions of dollars. He'll still be good to go. But still, he's putting himself out there. And I think a lot of the detractors I see online talking about him, detracting against him, talking talking ish about him don't go that far. They might post things anonymously. They want some of this anonymity, but they understand that, hey, if I go out there and actually push this to a certain level, it might actually hurt my bottom line. It might actually lose me some friends. It might actually lose me X, Y, Z in my life. And they make that choice to not do that. Starting to rain, so I'm going to take a little break here. So yes, and I do understand part of this might be a bias on my part from having making this content out there, putting my ideas out there, and be like, yeah, if you guys come out here and stand on this ledge with me and also take these hits. And I do understand some of the political stances that Mark Zuckerberg takes are more mainstream. This is what's more accepted. It's more on the political left. Those are more accepted kind of things. He hasn't really said too many things that I think are very like people going to detract from him and be like, yeah, I'm not going to invite you to my party because you said this thing. Because I think the conservative-minded people would invite him anyway if they had a reason to have Mark Zuckerberg at the thing. But people on the left politically would definitely disinvite you if you were found out to have some conservative ideas. So I get that aspect of it. But coming back to this hilarity of it, why I'm saying the state is a religion, because people are looking at the state and saying that, yes, this supposed monopoly of Facebook, even though Facebook has probably been donating a lot to the people that are supposedly going to take them down, they were existing in this way under the state, under these same apparatuses, yet we're supposed to believe that now those government agencies are going to come in and do that? No, it's a kangaroo court. It's not even a kangaroo court. Kangaroo court is when they do it so they can actually get you. It's a kabuki theater. They just doing it like, oh, we're going to pretend we're doing something, but they're not really going to do anything. Anything they do would actually make the problem even worse. I mean, this is the kind of thing like I talked about before. We can actually find different platforms. There's Minds out there. There's other platforms out there. You can check online if you really want to use other things. If you feel like, okay, Facebook is everywhere, I have to use it for Tinder, find something that doesn't have Tinder. Sign up with your email. Make a fake account. Make a fake email, make a fake Google account. There's other ways to do this. You can go in and change your privacy settings on some of these apps. You don't have to just use them the way they are. You can turn off the location mode on your phone. There's such simple things that people can seemingly just avoid getting into these traps that Facebook is doing. That people are saying, yes, these people are getting our information. Or, like many people out there, just don't use the app. Use something else. I think it's a lot easier to tell people just stop using the app versus leave this country. You know, people have established things in there. And for me, that's kind of one thing. I remember back in 2000 and, when was it? 2000 and, dating myself here. About 2003, I was doing a web design course or something, and then I was thinking of a website to do. And I was thinking, let me call it Yearbooked. And I've traveled around in my life. I was born in France, moved to Kenya, moved to United States of America in the DC area, then moved to school in West Virginia. And I'm sitting there like, my friends are so many different places. I wonder how I could get in touch with them. And I'm thinking, oh, let me actually have this thing where I draw people's yearbook photographs. And then we have this website where we keep in touch and things like that. And then at that time, that was around when Facebook was coming by. My ex at the time, ex now, my girlfriend at the time, she was at the school in the Boston area. And she was like, hey, there's this Facebook thing coming out. And it turns out it was this thing with Mark Zuckerberg. And the way it started was you had to have a college. You had to have a college ID. Enough people in a certain college had to mail in and say, we want this. So the demand thing kind of brought up. Then people got on there. It started being just a college thing. Then you had to get people in your college to get enough people to get the people wanting to use it. And it was that kind of thing. It was this small thing that started this way and just exploded into this major thing. Now, I did go forward with that idea. I just didn't have the tech mind to it, more on the design idea place. I didn't have the ability to go out there and ask people for help. I wasn't confident enough in the idea to actually push it through. But Mark Zuckerberg, whether he stole some parts of the idea or did these other things, was in the right place in the right time and got the program out there. I remember there was once a time when I thought I was important enough that some of the stuff that I was writing on Facebook or these kind of platforms would be something that people would steal and go do things with it. Because I'd come up with some idea, I'd write it somewhere online or something, then I'd see something like it and be like, hey, did somebody hack my stuff? Did somebody take my ideas? But no, these ideas are concurrently running around. People have different things to think, okay, we have this idea, I have part A of this idea, this person has part B, I'm in the right mental situation, I'm in the right financial situation, we get this idea up, and how many ideas fall off and go away and die off because this structure isn't there, this ability to communicate and connect people together isn't there. So for me, I have this strange connection and strange relationship with social media and things like that. I was the kind of weird guy back in the day. It was like, I'm going to add all these people on my list of what's it called, of AOL Instant Messenger when that was still there. And one day when I have something going on, I'm going to go back in and actually contact some of these people and advertise what I'm doing and get in touch with them and things like that. But right now, that's kind of the same mentality that I think I had at the time with Facebook and things like that, where I'll have a certain number of friends on there and I actually only converse with a small minority of them. But then just the other day, I posted something on Facebook. Somebody that I haven't talked to in a while, I talk to them occasionally, sends me this thing and says, hey, like, talks about the thing I posted. And then I talk to them about something, and then I'm like, hey, I've been listening to a lot of music lately. I asked them, what kind of music do you listen to, or what are you listening to right now? They send me a playlist that's been made by somebody else on YouTube who just collected a bunch of chill songs and put that playlist on there, and then they sent it to me. Then I started listening to that playlist, and it was like 66 songs. And I liked pretty much all the songs. Some of them were really good. Some of them I've heard before. It was only 2 of them that I'd heard before. And one of them I've been listening to over and over again right now and for the last couple of days. And anyway, that's just an example to see that, look, that whole interaction occurred with the help of Facebook, or occurred with the help of Google, occurred with the help with YouTube. So it's a tool. It's a thing that's used. The same people that are out there talking about how guns don't kill people, it's people who use guns and do that. The same people who are out there saying like, oh, like Donald J. Trump isn't the one who's encouraging people to do things. People are this way and then people do that. The words that he's speaking aren't necessarily going to get people to do this. It's still the individual's responsibility. Are the same ones in many cases saying the tool of Facebook itself is the one that's destroying society. It's hurting society. It's reducing the way people operate. They're saying that we need to find a way to control that tool itself. Somebody goes in there, the government, the state needs to go in there and do something about this. Just how you have people on the political left saying the government, the state needs to go in there and do something about guns because that's the weapon. And they're saying the weapon of the left is the social media. So this kind of hypocrisy, lack of consistency is very frustrating to me. I'm thinking, guys, it's about how you use the things. You have a choice to use those things or not. Some people can use it positively. Some people can use it negatively. Some people are more familiar with certain platforms, certain things. They lean to certain things. There's a certain reason why most people on the political left, people who are mentally politically left, are drawn to certain fields, performing arts and things like that. People who are more on the political right are drawn to certain fields, I think like engineering and more non-personal. I think it's like, that's the same kind of way there's a divide between male minds and female minds. I'm not saying like in general being on the left is feminine and on the right is masculine, but there's these divides that have something to do with the way people think, the way people approach the world. So some of that is kind of odd to see. That whole different things happen for the same reasons, same things happen for different reasons. That's an ongoing theme I've had in my channel. That's it for now. Let me know what you guys think about this. It's been bugging me for just recently, just seeing this. I really don't think the solution at all for gun problem is the state. I don't think the solution at all for Facebook and whatever it is and whatever social media is doing is the state either. I'm personally still going to use those platforms because for me, as I mentioned, I have friends and relatives all over the world, and I don't really know any other ways to keep in touch with them. I am trying a few different platforms. I am going in to try to get my own material up there, my own website up there. So it'll be carbon33.com, and I have my blog at rantathon.com. But I'm also going to try ways to get more people to actually come to find out my information, try to find out who's actually still interested in getting to know what I'm doing and things like that, and who am I actually interested in actually communicating with, and then find other ways to communicate with them. A few other things, get a VPN. This VPN, I think, is a virtual private network. It's like $10 a month if you live in the United States of America. Most people can afford that. You can go in and you can change that up. There's probably free VPNs. There's other ways to get around some of these things. Take some small steps personally in your life. Take that personal responsibility on your own and go out there and secure your privacy to the level that you want to do it, and use the tools for what the tools just are. Because if everybody stopped using Facebook, it would just be some code online. If everybody stopped shooting guns at people, there would just be these metal things with these bullets in them that don't do anything. They're just tools, and the state is not going to be the solution for these issues and problems that people see. That's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye. Yeah, one last thing. It's really odd how salty people are. Just, I mean, it's an odd experience. I wonder how it would feel to be in that kind of situation where you create a platform and then if you go on that platform, I know Mark Zuckerberg and everybody else you can just block, you can watch who you're actually listening to and things like this. But just seeing the people who are cutting at him, the people who are like, oh, he has a booster seat like at the Senate. I'm sure that's probably a lot more common than people think. There's probably a lot of people who use that booster seat so they can sit up in a certain way. Appearances matter and things like that. I don't think that's something worth making fun of him. But the whole like lizard people thing, it's just really odd. The guy does have an issue with the way he communicates with people, but he's not a normal individual. Normal individuals don't create an app like Facebook. People are going to be a little odd, little awkward. And it's kind of a funny thing that people tease him for that, make fun of him for that. And yet they also, a lot of the same people who make fun of his weirdness, his lizard person self, are also the same people who talk about how they shouldn't be shaming about like geek culture or masculine culture when they talk about how like feminists and people like that come in and they're like, oh, you need to behave in a certain way. How come you don't behave in a way that's more personable to us? Yet they have their thing. So it's just this whole lack of consistency that I see around. I'm not saying that I am completely free of doing this personally, but these are just some thoughts. These are some observations. Let me know what you guys think. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.